forget to say got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, hey there, everybody. It's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. And won't all of you come in and say hello to Mary Miele and her daughter Alexis, who are going to be cooking with us today. Hey guys, how are you? Hey, Alexis. So Alexis, I'm going to ask you a couple questions that I may have already asked you before. I know you love to cook because I had a conversation with your mom about it. And we're going to be making, what are we making today? Pizza. And tell me how old you are, which I know, but our audience does not know.
8.
You're 8. Okay. And what grade are you in?
3rd.
3rd grade. Oh my gosh. So I met my best friend in the 3rd grade. And do you know, we are still best friends. Can you believe that? All these years. Do you have a special friend in the 3rd grade?
Not really.
No, well, maybe you'll meet her in the 4th grade. How about that? Maybe she'll walk into your life in the 4th grade.
I feel like you do have a lot of friends in your grade, you know?
But then they're in 3rd
Oh,
grade.
they're in a different class this year. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, just so you know, my best friend and I were only in the same class together in 3rd and 4th grade. And then I moved to the other side of town. And even though we were not even in the same school anymore, we still stayed very, very close. And here we are all these years later. So there you go. And Mary, how old are you? No, I'm kidding.
Hey, I'm not really shy about it.
Yeah, okay. We're moving from Alexis to Mary. So how old are you? What grade are you in?
Yeah.
Speaking of grades, you are in the education business, right?
I am. Yes, correct. Exactly. I've been in the education business for 25 years. So you can do the math.
Yes.
And I've had a nice, rich experience teaching, and I now have my own company called Evolved Education Company. We tutor and do all of the things with parents to help them along.
Well, we're going to get into all of that. Let me just make sure and see who has joined us. I've got to check the Facebook page because chances are everybody is asking questions. Hold on, I got to turn this down. Let me turn that down. There we go. So Frank is here and Judy Woods is here and Susie Foreman is here. Everybody said good afternoon. Hello. And somebody said Alexis is adorable. So here we go. All of our followers are finding us. They're coming online. So today, Alexis is going to teach us a great recipe that she learned, but either you, Alexis, or your mom, tell us a little bit about how you became a family cook at the age of 8 years old. Do you want to tell me, or do you want your mom to tell me? What do you think?
Mom, I'm going to tell you. Okay. Well, so really Alexis has always enjoyed cooking. So we do make some family meals here. We have a big family. She's the 3rd child. So we do cook in our home, and she's always been around when we're doing that and just kind of comes in and out, and she's very curious. And then during the pandemic, we spent even more time in the kitchen, and she joined a class where she could cook a meal every Wednesday. So she got on a Zoom, and then the teacher taught her how to do lots of different things. So this recipe for the pizza came from that class, and she just loves doing all of it. And now I can actually sit in my office, which is right near the kitchen, and give her orders on how to do a recipe, and she can actually put it all together because she made it the other day, right? All by yourself. Yep.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. And so that cooking class that you're talking about, was that an online cooking class, or did you actually go to the class?
Online.
It was online. And how many other kids took place? How many other kids were there?
I don't know exactly, 10 or 12.
That's good. And was it all mothers and daughters, or fathers and daughters, or fathers and sons, mothers and sons, or was it just the kids themselves?
It had grown-ups.
Oh, our camera just popped off.
That's okay.
Yes. Well, yeah, you had to have a grown-up just to supervise.
Yes.
But there were all kinds of grown-ups. I felt like there was dads, there were moms, there were grandmas, there were probably babysitters, lots of different.
Yeah.
The older kids didn't have any grown-ups, so they were just doing it all on their own.
Right. There was probably an age limit to where they could join in and everything else. Lisa Dell is watching. So Lisa Dell is the best friend I was talking about that I met in 3rd and 4th grade. Not sure if you heard all that, Lisa, but if not, you'll have to go back and watch the beginning of the show if you're just now coming in. So let's talk about what we're making today. Alexis, what is it?
What are we making?
Pizza.
Pizza, which you already said, but it's not just pizza. You had to start with what? Making sauce?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you want to get us started and tell us
Tell us what
how
we
you
do.
get started?
So, okay. So the first thing we have to do is you have to take an onion and you have to mince it up. But we were talking earlier about how that makes everybody cry. So we tend to cut up the onion and then we put it into our
Food processor.
the food processor, and it just dices it all up into little pieces. So we'll start there. So Alexis doesn't really like the touch and the feel of the onion. But
So Alexis came up with something that she saw on YouTube as to how to keep your eyes from tearing when you're cutting an onion. Do you want to tell us about that, Alexis?
what was it?
If you put bread in your mouth when you're cutting an onion, you don't cry.
Isn't that funny? And did you try it? Does it work?
If somebody sees it, they can text us.
Oh, they could text. If anyone's watching, she's saying you
can test it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what's really funny, in my day, we were told that if you put matches, like put 2 matches in your mouth and hold them out with the wick out, that would actually keep you from crying. So Brenda Berman is here. Hi, Brenda. So nice to see you. Thank you for being here. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
She's cutting herself. Yeah, she's that was another thing that the class kind of went over with them was like knife safety, which I think is really great for kids to know how to.
Yeah, that is a big knife to put in an 8-year-old's hand, don't you think?
Yeah.
So Mary, one of the philosophies that I have is she's doing a great job. Hey, yay on that. Very yay. How about that, everybody? What do you think of that? Is that, we have this instinct. I mean, food is not just food in a drive-through. Food is something that sustains us as individuals. And one of our most natural instincts is to feed ourselves and to feed our children, and then help our children learn how to feed themselves in the healthiest way possible with nutritionally dense foods. And I am amazed at how there's certain areas that we maybe have skipped over in the educational system because we took it for granted that if we got rid of home economics, that somehow everybody remembered or knew how to measure or use measurements. And as an educator, don't you find that measurements and cooking actually help you take your math skills and bring it to practicality? What do you tell me about that in terms of
I connect to it so much. I mean, I remember I used to be a math teacher and we would always incorporate cooking into the classroom just because it was such a natural way to teach, more and less, teach kids about fractions, teach kids about conversions. Now, without these really concrete experiences, kids have to abstract. I might be speaking French to some, but what that means is you have to make sense of what a cup is without actually holding on to a cup. It's really hard for anyone to understand it. So I think, it's to me very precious to have that kind of experience. And I mean, I think we can do it in our own homes. A lot of parents I work with have to do things that the systems are not doing. So easy enough, right? Just easy. It doesn't have to, I guess, I didn't come from a family of cooks really. We didn't really prioritize cooking in my home when I was a child, but I was always very curious about it as a young adult. And I feel very comfortable around basic stuff now. I've taken some classes. I did a little bit of my own learning. You want to stir it? No, you want me to stir it? Yeah, we have to stir the sauce.
Okay.
But I think it's just important. And the other thing I'll say is just that our brains really need nutrition. And as you know, the food that's available very easily doesn't always pack in that kind of nutrition. And so something that I've always taught my kids from very early on is just what they're eating is is fuel for your body. It is what it is, right? And so, oh, you're eating carrots, great, that's really helping your eyes. Or, oh, you're eating broccoli with milk, that's iron, great, it's good for your blood. Like just teaching them some of these in just conversation as I'm learning about it too, I think is really important.
And so I have a question. I always thought it was an old wives' tale that carrots were good for your eyes. Do you actually, and I just heard you say it. So I never fact checked that statement, but I'm assuming you did. So carrots are good for the eyes.
There's a vitamin in there. I think it's A. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe somebody that's watching this could Google it, but I don't quote me on it, but I'm just saying, I think that's the one. But it's, you know, there are actually vitamins in a lot of these.
Absolutely. Of course there are, right? Like our most dense form of vitamins and minerals come from vegetables. Hey, Lana Roberson, Fabian, nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We're talking to Mary Miele. Hey, Lo, how are you? Lo's become a watcher these days. Thanks, Lo. And thanks for your comments on Russell and his birthday yesterday. Just so loved hearing that from Harmony. So yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, the vitamins and minerals that we all intake really do come from our dense nutrients. And that's why it's so important. So are you finding, like you said, you didn't cook when you were younger, but are you finding that like the idea, if you said, oh, so Lisa says, did you know that the most potassium of any food is a white potato, 900 milligrams of potassium?
Wow.
So see, you know, these are the things, honestly, this is amazing. I mean, honestly, and also too, one thing that I found, which I'll share because I'm a big proponent of this, is that fermented foods are probiotics. So rather than going out and buying a jar of 30 probiotics for about $36 or $45, and if you're really into it, they're more. If you will just eat 2 or 3 tablespoons a day of, as an example, you know, kimchi is fermented, or sauerkraut is fermented, or dill pickles are fermented. If you, I know me too, but not the dill pickles that are made with vinegar, the dill pickles that are legitimate, you know, dill pickles, which have no vinegar in them and they're just salt and water and seasoning, that then ferments. And those fermented foods are actual probiotics that help your digestive system and heal your gut. And we all know when we heal our gut, it heals our brain. So if we have brain fog, if we are not, you know, energetic, chances are it's coming from the gut. Chances are you went through too many drive-throughs. Chances are you ate too many cookies or donuts, which we did do last night, and no cookies, but lots of pink box donuts. And you know, the weight, like today, I'm like all about the sauerkraut because it's the quickest way for me to get back to normal.
Wow. Yeah, it is amazing what you can do with food. I think that's a really good message. And you know, in terms of education, I think we can absolutely do more with our kids to teach them about all the things that nutrition brings, but also the fun that it brings. You ready? Okay.
Okay, let's go, girls.
All right. So when we do the sauce, just so you know, we kind of have one going. So I'll just kind of walk you through. Yeah, I'll walk you through what we do for the sauce. This is her grandmother has a recipe that I learned, which you can make sauce on Sunday afternoons with meat sauce and everything, but I just adapt it when we're making pizza sauce to not have the meat in it, but you can put meat in if you want. So you just put a little bit of this onion that we cut up. Alex, you want to do it? You can kind of show them. So we have to put this into the pot. And maybe we'll bring it over here to the camera so we can just show it.
Yeah, bring it over to us. So we're putting it in.
So you just put your onion in here, all of that. You want to hold this and I'll scoop it out. Is that okay? Can you help me? Okay. Thanks. What did I do with that piece? Let's see. All of a sudden you get cooking and guess what else you have to do? You have to remember where you put everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So then here we go. This is the onion that goes just in here in this dish, okay? Then you put a little bit of olive oil. So Alexis and I went to Croatia this summer and we actually toured an olive farm, an olive tree farm.
Yes.
Learned how they made this, and then we bought it after we toured the farm. So this is actually all the way from Croatia.
And did you have to ship it home, or did you bring it pack in your suitcase?
I brought it on the plane. This one here.
They let you take it on the plane? I mean, on
like,
the carry-on or in your suitcase?
Yeah, it was like packed. No, I didn't put it in the suitcase. I put it in the carry-on, but I packed it up, and then they took it when you come on the plane. We couldn't bring a lot on the actual plane, so I don't know if they would have said something, but it's a pretty small bottle.
Yeah, is it? Well, if it's more than 2 ounces, I'm surprised that you got it on.
Yeah, they weren't really doing a lot of that internationally, but don't quote me on that. I don't really know. But anyway, so here we go. This is oregano, and that's the seasoning. All right. Here we go. Okay, you're just gonna put some of that in there. Be generous with this because it tastes delicious. Go ahead, put it in. You see what we're doing? So it just kind of coats it up.
Yep.
And the good news is if you make a lot of this, you can just do this base and you can put as many cans of tomato sauce in as you want, and you could actually freeze it. And then if your kids are wanting to make pizza on their own while you're working, that's a good trick. All right, so then what we do is we take a can of, here, you wanna hold this for me one more time?
No,
Oh, you wanna do this, okay. This is actually the fun part because they love blending and doing all those things.
Right.
So a can of just like whole, it's upside down, but it's whole tomatoes. Can you read it? And you just put it in the blender just so that because the kids don't like it when it's too chunky.
And San Marzano tomatoes are absolutely my favorite. I have a San Marzano tomato tree in my backyard.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, but my cherry tomatoes are to die for. I'm telling you, in my life, I've never tasted tomatoes that taste this good. Okay, turn her on, whir her up.
All right, go ahead. All right. Then what we do is for every can of tomatoes, we do a can of tomato paste. This just thickens it up a little bit, which they like. You don't have to, but I like to. And then you put water, you add water to this. So 1 can of this and then 1 can of water.
Gotcha.
Then you want to put sugar, a pinch of sugar, and then a little bit of salt. And then you just simmer it for like 30 minutes. And now you can work on the dough.
Okay.
We'll finish this a little later. We'll finish this batch a little later. So you already have a batch going on.
There we go. Yeah.
So the dough is pretty fun because what we do is we take a bowl. Actually, I have to get the pot here. Can you scoot over just a sec? Right.
If you had to say, would you say that dough? Whoa, look at that steam coming out of that dishwasher. If you had to talk about the pizza dough, would you say it's simple to do or not?
It's like literally so easy. So wait till you see. Yeah, she likes doing this one because it's really easy, right?
Okay, let's see.
Okay,
what are you gonna do?
Ready to go. All right. So you're just gonna take some warm water. You need to take 1 cup of warm water, and you can just basically take it out of the tap. It doesn't have to be hot.
Okay.
small bowl.
So Mary and Alexis are coming to us from the Upper East Side of New York City. This is where they live. And I love that we are able to actually bring everybody together. I'm sure there's people that are here joining us that are not even from Las Vegas, of course. And it's, you know, everybody from all over the world. I love that we had somebody that joined us from Australia a few weeks ago. So you're putting in a cap full, yeah, you're putting in a cap full of honey because the honey helps the yeast process. Is that right?
Yeah, so exactly. So you have to have the warm water to activate the yeast.
Uh-huh.
So now we're putting a little bit of honey in there just to make the little sweet. Right, put it in.
Well, and also the honey activates the yeast.
Yeah,
the yeast will start eating the honey, and then it makes it even bigger.
Yeah,
and you can substitute sugar instead of honey if for some reason you don't have any. So is it a tablespoon of honey?
It's a teaspoon of honey. That's the little,
Okay,
yep. See that little tea?
This.
That's
there you go. Okay. I think I just saw your brother. I think he just flashed
yeah.
by the screen. Yeah.
He cooks too, though. He knows how to do stuff. He's just,
But I'm way more good at cooking.
well, there's a little bit of a competition happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
Okay,
that.
so now we do the same little tea, say little tea yeast, 1 little tea yeast. So now we just sprinkle the yeast on the top. And then we want it just to get a little bit foamy.
Mhm.
And then all you need to do is put, yep, that's perfect. You want to show them?
There's a teaspoon of yeast. Awesome.
Yeast is pretty fun. Okay. Then we're,
So
Yeah.
out of curiosity, what kind of yeast do you buy? Do you buy
active yeast.
what is it?
Active yeast.
Right. And it's not the quick riser.
I don't even know, actually. Maybe it is. Maybe I might have gotten the wrong kind because I didn't intend to get the quick rising, but I think this actually might be.
Let's
That's
see.
active.
Rapid rise. Okay, that's fine.
Anyway, who knows? It's going to be an experiment, which sometimes, cooking is. In its true sense, right? It also brings in the science. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to let that kind of sit for a moment so we can chat for a little bit and we can get our flour and our salt ready.
Okay.
And that's really it. So all then we have to do now is we just have to do our 3 cups of flour. We're going to add the flour to that mixture,
Okay.
a teaspoon of salt,
Right.
and then we're just going to knead the dough into its little, pieces. We're going to put the sauce on top and the cheese on top, and that's it. That's how we do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we have our 3 cups of flour?
We're gonna put, so this is actually what we do for the dry stuff, which is this one. But we're gonna put it in this because then we can do multiple. Okay, so you ready, girl?
Yeah.
Okay, here, this is it, over here. Flour in here.
All right.
Well, you need to put, let's not measure over there. Okay, good. Excellent.
So Frank, one of our viewers who's here every day, used to live in New York City. He's from Brooklyn. And he said that he's an over-the-road driver even now. So depending on what day it is, he's anywhere in America on the road delivering, for the OTR drivers.
Yeah.
And he said that he used to drive for the sanitation department in the Upper East Side area. So,
Oh my gosh, how amazing. Yeah, he probably came right by our neighborhood in our area here. Yeah, it's pretty residential here where we live. So we have, in here. So you need 3 of those, okay? Yep, beautiful.
Can you help me?
You can do it.
So there's a very famous Italian restaurant that's on like 72nd and like First, or I think it starts with
Nino's?
this. What is it?
The Nino's?
Does it start with a C?
Oh, C. Not Carmine's, right?
No, not Carmine's.
Oh,
Carmichael's?
yes, maybe.
Maybe, I don't think so. I don't know if my son is listening. He knows. Anyway, my dad, who owns an Italian restaurant here in Las Vegas, used to send us in when we were in New York City, which was amazing. We used to go in there all the time. We took one of our holiday pictures at that restaurant. I don't know. I feel like yelling, Russell, what is the name of that restaurant?
Yeah, you're going to have to come back and put it in the chat.
Yeah,
we can all go. I know we love Italian food in general. So it's always nice to know of a good restaurant. We probably have been to it, or else, it's actually true that we're still discovering so many restaurants in the city, because how could you possibly go to the mall?
Impossible. Right? Yeah.
So,
let me text him, see if I can text him.
Okay, sounds good. So we have this whole yeasty mixture here. All right, that looks pretty good.
Hey, Mom, can you show the
You want to show the camera? Okay.
Okay, I'm asking him.
Yep. So hold on, she's asking her son about the restaurant. That looks good.
Oh, that's great. So is it foaming?
Yeah, it looks like it. It's definitely soggy looking.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see.
I don't know if you were like this, but I remember, you know, when I was learning to cook, I used to have a lot of flops. I still kind of sometimes do. One time I put baking powder in instead of baking soda, you know.
Right, and sometimes you put in, I was doing a recipe, so I'm on Channel 8 here in Las Vegas, which is a CBS affiliate. And I got nervous right before we went on the air, and I was making muhammara, which is kind of like a hummus, if you will. And it called for three tablespoons or 3 teaspoons of cumin, and I put in 3 tablespoons. And when we took a bite of it, just for, you know, everybody to taste, including the, you know, host and hostess, I mean, we all almost spit it out live on the air. And I was like, what is wrong with this? This is the most delicious thing ever. But I just got nervous and put in 3 tablespoons of cumin instead of 3 teaspoons, which is really, it's called campanolas.
Oh, okay. I know of it. I do know of it. Yes, yes. I haven't been, I don't know, maybe I've been once or twice. I'm not sure. Can't place it right now, but I'll have to check it out. Yes, you can do it with your hands. That's the fun. Now we have to just put a little salt in, and then you can actually totally go to town with your hands.
Okay, so let's get this pizza dough working.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Right here.
Okay, well, here, we'll just do a little bit of makeshift here so we can move it along. Here we go.
Okay, all right.
Beautiful.
We're back.
Super good. All right. We're just put a little salt in.
Can I take it out?
Yep, you sure can. And here we can put a little flour on the counter.
And so where does she need it? Right down the counter?
Bowl.
So.
Yeah, it's just right in the bowl is best, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I just like to kind of like use the sides and just push it around.
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea.
She's bringing it out onto the counter, which is also fine.
Yeah, which is also fine. I watched someone the other day that I know quite well, literally knead dough, and he literally turned it into satin. I was like, oh my God, how did he learn to do that? I mean, he was so in control of that bread and turning it into satin. It was just absolutely amazing. And so what kind of flour did you use, Mary? Did you use all-purpose flour?
All-purpose flour. I mean, we have the Tipico, you know, kind if you want to get fussy into, you know, into the pizza dough making land.
What is Tipico? Tell us what that is.
Here, I'll show you. It's a,
Come here.
it's an Italian type flour, I think. Yeah. Yes, I'll bring the camera over there so you can see. This is the, this is flour that you can use for dough. It's a very fine, almost, you know, powdery, and dense as well. Yeah.
And is that Italian? It looks like an import. Yeah.
From Italian. My husband gets very into these kinds of projects. He likes to try to make the best pizza dough.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
well, he's Italian, right?
A family of people. All right, let's see. The camera I don't think goes any further, so you're gonna have to
just kind of turn a little bit. There you go. And then we can see that looks really good.
Yeah, she's doing great.
Good job. And so what size pizza do you think you're making, Alexis? A big one or a little one?
Small. She likes to make the personal ones for her and her brother.
Okay, got it.
So she'll make one for her and one for her brother. And she's getting out all of her frustrations, right?
Yeah, everybody should make pizza dough every day.
I'm telling you, it's actually pretty nice, right?
So while she's making the dough, just tell us, Mary, a little bit about Evolved Education.
Oh, sure. So, well, Evolved Education is the company that I founded in 2014. I did that because I was tutoring at the time, and I really wanted to establish a company where families could come in and really get any type of support they need to help their kids along in school. So
I tasted it. I know what it tastes like.
You tasted it? Yeah.
I know what it tastes like wanted stuff.
Oh yeah, I know, it's so fun, right? So we're based in New York, but we serve families from literally all over the world, especially since COVID happened, and we really expanded our ability to connect with people, like on things like this, and and really all over the place. So come and check us out if you do have a child in school. We offer tutoring, parent education, and school placement advisement. So yeah, it's a super fun part of my life. I love working with my clients and learning and helping them along.
Are you finding that across this country, like you're finding that the educational system is leaving people behind? Are you finding that there are more learning issues, more problems? What are you finding is the trend right now?
Yes. Well, I think the biggest trend really since COVID happened is that parents are more aware of what's happening with their children's education, and they're seeing really what they either love about their current school, or they're seeing that they need to make a change, or they're seeing that they need to supplement or enrich, or, something needs to happen and they need a partner to come in and help them with whatever it is that they're seeing could be happening with their child. Right. And so I'm just seeing since the pandemic, people calling from literally all over the country, but also even internationally to talk with me about, listen, I think that this could be happening for my child, or I think we need to make a change of schools, or I think we need to know
and
more.
How is it that they're finding you from all over the country? Like, what are you doing to get the word out?
It's so weird. So since pandemic happened, I started doing some YouTube webinars, and I had a whole group of folks from the West Coast call me up because they were starting to hire nannies to do homeschooling in their division. And so I started just talking with them about that. A lot of interesting work has come our way because of the pandemic. I started talking with a couple of families from India. They have a very interesting, almost synonymous type of school system where they live to New York City. It's very competitive. There's a lot of very prestigious schools there. And, many families wanted to move to the States if they could for a year or two, just so that they could have their children attend school in person. But some of them couldn't. And we talked a little bit about remote learning and how that actually could work for their families. It's just been fascinating, actually, to talk to so many different types of people. And, the commonality, though, is that every parent is just trying to make sure their children are learning well. And, our work is really all about thinking about the solutions. And, sometimes we have to think outside the box. Sometimes we think inside the box. Oh, right, you're done. Perfect. Okay. Things like that. So,
okay, Alexis, hold that up. That's beautiful. That looks like satin. That looks great. Or it looks like brains. I'm not sure which, right where you're holding it. Okay. So let's
basically place it onto here. We're going to set up these pizzas and throw them in the oven.
That's okay. Let's go.
All right. Yep. So here you go, girl. Yeah. So it's been, I'm sure like you, it's been really fun to have this medium of social media and, people kind of being on computers a little bit more, right?
Yes, it has. There's been so much opportunity. I mean, with every downturn is always some sort of uptick that no one ever expects. And so it's been, even just doing the show every day on Facebook has just been amazing. Something I would have never thought of doing, but everyone was begging to connect in some way. And I always found food to be the great connector. And so the show just evolved from that.
Beautiful. It's so true, though. It's so true. And I think we also during the pandemic learned the value of coming together and really eating as a family and having that time again. I mean, that's another thing that many people have learned, I think, right? Oh, right. Perfect. It's so great. Okay. I have to go grab my charger because I realize I don't want to. Okay, you're doing it. Yep. I'm going to be right back. So
okay. Yeah. So Patty, Patty Keneally just joined us, and Sue Rainish just joined us. So hi, ladies. We've got Alexis here from New York City on the Upper East Side. There you go. Who's teaching us how to make her special recipe of pizza that she learned in a cooking class that she had taken with her mom. So we're really having a good time, right, Alexis? Yeah. So are you just making cheese pizza? Or are you making pepperoni pizza? What exactly are you making?
Cheese pizza. Maybe.
All right. So, and you're making 2 personal pizzas, is that right? One for you and one for your brother?
Mom,
Yep, one for you and one for your brother. Yep.
Okay, I see. All right.
We're just gonna get
can I save the dough?
this plugged in. You want to save some dough for, you can, you know, sometimes we make the dough and we make some bread, which is kind of delicious too.
You just make bread out of the pizza dough. And so do you ever freeze the pizza dough just like you freeze the pasta sauce?
No, I don't really do that because I find it doesn't taste super great after that, but you can. I just haven't quite figured out the knack of that one yet.
Mini size bread.
All right, it's looking good. All right, let's get this in here. Now we've got to just take the sauce and get that on. Let's see if I can get a spoon.
And this one's the bread.
All right.
I'm gonna make some bread.
Yep, no problem.
Actually, no.
Are you finding more and more children? There's a little flash dancer that just walked through there.
I know you keep talking, yeah, bye.
So
Are you
cute.
asking?
About learning disabilities in children.
Oh, yeah. Well,
sorry.
I do a lot of work with children with special needs. And okay, sure. And we're coming actually out with our book, which is coming out actually next week, which is kind of timely for this conversation. But the book that we wrote is a guide for special education. And what we did was we took parents through just that initial, I think something's not going exactly as it could here. What should I start with? All the way through doing the work of the testing to figure out what it actually is, then sourcing the actual program that will help your child within both public and private systems. This can be applied really anywhere you are likely, although we of course talk a little bit more specifically about the New York City area in some of those systematic ways. But you know, my whole career has been spent in one way or another tied to special ed. So I could probably talk about it for hours with you. But it is something that we do a lot of as well.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna make something, a pizza.
Oh, yeah, that's
Can
fun.
we get some sausage?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Let's just get one in so we can show them what it looks like once it's done, and then we can be creative once.
Okay, so you're putting just the sauce right onto the pizza. So
Yeah.
if Alexis can just scoot, or you can scoot the pan just a little bit to your right, so we can see it. There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Oh, very,
Right.
very nice. And so you've got,
Come on, move, I gotta get it.
So
and
we've
that
got
is made,
pizza.
is that made out of stainless steel, the pizza?
Yes. Yes, it is. So it is made out of stainless steel. Yep, it'll be ready in a minute. Yep.
With all this.
All right, we're gonna throw this in.
No, I'm not ready.
Oh, she's not ready.
I didn't make.
Okay. And do you prefer the stainless steel more than the pizza stone?
So I have the pizza stone already in the oven.
Oh,
So
got
what I
it.
do is I just take that and I sort of shimmy it sort of
Oh, right onto the pizza
right
stone.
on the pizza stone. So
Love
the pizza
that.
stone right now is like really hot. In fact, it's like, woo, it's really hot in
Right.
here. Right?
It set off the smoke alarm before we tuned
Yes,
in. Yes.
exactly. So we don't have the super fancy oven, but it's definitely hot right now, which is what you want. You want it to be as hot as possible. That's actually
Oh.
what's great for pizza.
So I'm yawning because
Oh my God,
was
I
up-
know. You're on like party all night.
Right, party all night, clean
Yeah,
up all night,
yeah,
and like
totally.
it's like, is it time for bed yet? And yet I'm leaving from this to a birthday dinner for a friend who's having a big
Wow.
celebration tonight, which is why I'm kind of dressed up today.
Well, I love your dress. It's your whole the whole look
Thank
is
you. Well,
is
this is a
very
Lindsay Bernay style specials.
vibrant.
special.
Amazing. She is brilliant. Yeah, I love it. And it's
Brilliant,
you
she
know,
is.
I write. So let's see where we're at. Oh, you're covering it. Oh, very fancy. That's great.
Oh,
Great.
like little pizza balls.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Not a pizza ball.
You
Pizza ball. Okay, guys.
can also
That's
get
great.
creative, right? That's a good thing.
I need more stuff. I
Okay.
need to make more.
Oh, yes, you do. Hold on. I'm just gonna get this in here. I'm using a little finessing.
Well, Alexis, you've taught us a lot today. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. Do you think you'll watch this back?
Yeah, definitely. She can show her cousins, right?
Yes, yes. Was your grandmother? Yes. Did your grandparents come on today? Do you think, do they know how to use Facebook?
Yes, her one grandma does. So I'm not sure if she came on, but she sometimes is on. More sauce. Yep.
A tiny little bit.
Right out of the pot.
Yes.
And so you've got 2 batches of sauce that you made. The really good news is what you don't use tonight for the family, you will just freeze, like you said. And so when you do make pizzas, Mary, what exactly do you cook along with it? Like, what do you serve along with the pizza?
Yeah. So, well, she's making some bread along with the pizza because we need more carbs, but we're a big broccoli family here. So we'll often just heat up.
Broccoli.
Yeah, she loves broccoli. So we'll heat up some broccoli. We'll steam it up. Yes, we have a bunch of broccoli in the fridge. I kind of keep it simple though. We do that and just a little bit of some kind of veggie to, spice it up, if you will.
A lot of salads by chance?
They don't really eat, my kids don't really, they're not into it yet. I don't know how your kids were. I feel like I got into salads not until I was a really like a young adult, but I don't know. So
I have a funny story to tell you.
Yeah.
My daughter, who is now a judge and will be turning 40 years old next month, actually just hated broccoli. And when she went off to my mother-in-law's with her little brother to stay, with her grandparents for a week or a few days or a weekend, whatever it was, and my mother-in-law made broccoli, and my daughter was so mortified. We were talking about it last night. As a matter of fact, she was so mortified that her grandmother was making broccoli. And when she saw it go on the table, she looked at my mother-in-law and she said, "I can't eat that. I'm allergic to broccoli." And my mother-in-law believed her, right?
Oh my God.
And so last night, first of all, my daughter's a vegetarian and I was making lamb. So I had to make something for her that wasn't, meat. And then I realized that the big side dish I was making was a Caesar broccoli. And so I went out and got a head of cauliflower. And so last night we were laughing because I made a whole separate meal for her because, as I said to my mother-in-law last night, she's allergic to broccoli, right? She will not touch it,
Won't do it. Yeah.
And I'm laughing that you could have a broccoli family because that would have never happened in my family.
That is really interesting. So do you have a food like that where you're like, I will not go near it at all?
Well, I used to be like that about tomatoes, but as I became an adult, I actually learned to love them. My daughter used to also be like that about tomatoes. And then as she became an adult, she actually likes them now. But I will tell you what I cannot eat. I don't like it. I don't like to have it around me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. Is cilantro. I cannot tolerate cilantro. And what I'm told is that there's some genetic thing with about 25% of the population that cilantro tastes like a dirty soap to them. And it does to me. I'm one of those, which is so odd because my mother loves it. She keeps saying, "Oh, just try it. You're going to like it." And I'm like, no. And then I found out why. I am that person. I am the cilantro, anti-cilantro.
I'm kind of like that with dill. I'm not a big dill fan. Don't like it. Like if, I make a lot of, in fact, she made a lot of the recipes that had the yogurt and the dill together for the dips for the vegetable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just not my favorite, but I don't have an aversion to it. I didn't really, I don't know if I have an aversion. I guess I'm not really into super spicy. That's not my thing, but I will eat hot wings. So I don't know.
Well, you know what it is. You learn to substitute things like when a recipe calls for cilantro, depending on what it's calling for it to do, either I'll use flat leaf parsley or I will use basil. And that's the end of that. Yeah. Which I love salsa with basil as opposed to basil and parsley. There we go. More pizza. Well, I can't thank the two of you enough. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It was such a nice week.
Yes, it was. And if anybody wants to reach you or find out about you, tell us about how they find more information about Evolved Education.
Sure. So you can go to our website, which is www.evolveded.com. You can also email us at hello@evolveded.com. We have a podcast also every week that we deliver for parents. So if you have questions of things you want us to teach or bring an expert on to talk about, you can also email us at that same email, hello@evolveded.com, and we will make that happen.
That's
so
awesome.
Thank you so much for having us. We just had such a great time.
You're very welcome. And Alexis, do you want to like turn around for a brief minute and say goodbye to everybody? Oops, are you eating something?
Goodbye.
I feel like she's eating something. There you go. Bye, Alexis. Thank you so much for joining us. I think you did a wonderful job. And as an 8-year-old, I'm very proud of your cooking abilities, and you're an inspiration to everybody. Truly, you are. You should work to try to get more children to learn to cook, because if we don't learn how to feed ourselves, what will we do about our own lives, right? It's an important thing to learn. So you will carry that with you. Lisa says she is so adorable. So there you go.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody.
Everyone. Have a great evening. We'll take a photo of our finished product for you.
Okay. And at the end, yes, and post it in Gather with Nanny Bubby. So if you haven't already joined the Facebook group, Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group, just ask to join and you'll get let in, and then you can post a picture in there. We'd love to see it. Also, at the end of every segment, we always say spread love like butter on the count of 3. So if you'll say it with me on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. There you go. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.